Hey everyone, it's me Al, back with you on TYC, and we've got some advice for you this week. First of all, just to remind you, like you haven't had enough updates, of our Giving Tuesday campaign, which is you donate to us on December 2nd, and our funds will be matched. So that means a bunch of money for us. Our goal is $500. And you could help us with that, and that would be great. Donate to us on December 2nd, because that would be a very cool thing for you to do, and we would appreciate it forever. And we're going to have some cool things if you do. Donate in somebody's name and leave a message, and depending on how much you donate, we'll have your comments down here, or we'll verbally say your name and your message on our channel, and that is cool. This week we're talking about advice to those in the closet, which I think is applicable because most of our target audience is stealth or in the closet. And they both kind of have their similarities, but we're specifically focusing on in the closet. And this is something that's hard to deal with, obviously. It wouldn't be a problem if it wasn't something hard to deal with. I have been like tentatively out for quite a few years, meaning I didn't really try and hide my gender, but I also never really came out to anyone. I was like, yeah, I'll be your prince or whatever, but nobody really caught on to that. I did have friends that were like, if I didn't know better, I'd think you were trans. And I'm like, which I think is something that's hard because you just automatically assume somebody isn't what they are. And that's why you need to come out. Well, you shouldn't have to, but unfortunately you do. And that's hard. I've had differing experiences. My friends are all cool with it. My mom is slowly getting there. It's taken her a couple months. I accidentally came out to my grandparents about a week ago, and that was hard, but they're taking it okay. And they're pretty old, so you wouldn't really think about it. I was really worried because they pay for my school and stuff, but it's all turning out fine. And that's something you have to realize, that you may be picturing this worst case scenario, but it probably won't end up being true. In this day and age, if you have normal, loving parents or friends or family members, they are going to accept you. This isn't something that is so taboo anymore that is worth a lot of the hate you get. But that being said, it's still not as progressive an area as being gay, for example. Or even less so having like an interracial relationship. Like, these things are varying in how people react to them. And someday we are going to get to the point where you're going to come home and be like, hey, what's up? I'm trans. And your parents will be like, oh, okay, whatever. But we're not quite there yet. And that's a legitimate concern. It's scary. It really is scary. I am not the kind of person who likes coming out to people. I wish people just knew I'm very non-confrontational, I'm very passive, and that has been my problem. You really can't just sit by and hope these things go over, because they won't. People are gonna see what you are and suspect what you are, but they're never gonna know for sure unless you tell them. For advice, you just have to really think about it. I always liked the method of writing a letter and kind of giving time for who you're telling to think it over before they respond. That's how I told my mom I was going to be pursuing HRT, was through an email. And I think that turns out well. It gives you and the person you're telling time to kind of adjust and think it through without just immediately having that reaction, because your first reaction is always going to be an emotional reaction, and that's not always what you're going to want to hear. Or if you do have to come out in person in speech, you can write it down. That is an advice that I give to everyone. If you can, make notes for yourself, write a paper, and nobody's really going to think less of you for reading off of it. And if you mess up, just hand them the paper and they can read it. It's really something you have to do based on who you're doing it to. and tailored to who you are, who they are, and what this experience is. Never come out if you don't feel ready. I only came out because I was having multiple panic attacks a day in school, and that was messing with my ability to study and get good grades. So I thought I had to do this. I had to get this off my chest and tell my mom so I didn't feel as bad. And coming out is hard. For a week after I told my mom, I couldn't make myself be around her just because it was so weird and awkward. Like, she didn't really know how to treat me, and I didn't really know how to treat her. Like, we tried to act normal, but it was weird. That's not what it's going to be like for everybody. And that's why having space, having time to kind of process everything is good. And why you shouldn't come out if you're not ready. If this is something you need to do, then by all means do it. It can't be any worse than what you're already in. Unless, of course, that involves being kicked out or whatever. And then there are resources to help you. Of course, this is just a personal thing. Nobody can tell you to do this. Nobody can influence you that much. If you're not ready for it, don't do it because it's not worth it. But if it is something that you feel like you need to do, just go for it. And things usually work themselves out. Things will usually turn out okay. Even if they are bad for a little bit, they will end up in your benefit as long as you want them to. Alright everybody, that's it for me this week. Thank you for listening. Once again, check out our Giving Tuesday links down below, along with our social media links. And as always, have a good week, and I'll see you all next time. Things that I am thankful for. I graduated high school back in May. I am like halfway through my first semester in college.